Commenting Domestic Space is a project by the Open Workshop, which is based on the research conducted by Antje Steinmüller and Niraj Bhatia. It learns from the history of architecture and urbanism to find ways to answer the topic of this year's Biennale, how to live together in a pluralistic society. The project that you see here is the result of a 3-year study that looked into communal living case studies all around the world and tries to combine them and translate them in the attempt of speculative housing design proposals. The 5 speculative design proposals, examine how these ways of sharing can be organized, how resource, space and time are shared. In particular, what the research looked at is the relationship between the hardware, the software and the artware. The hardware is the spatial arrangements of physical space. It's the physical interface between the public and the private. The software is how individuals lay claim to space and how the social structures behind them are organizing the forms of reappropriating space as well as the scales of sharing. The orgware is the mechanisms of governance and how the distribution of domestic labor is organized. It's about the organization of economics, resources and power. What is interesting here is how these structures come together and form a spatial contract, and how architecture ultimately comes together to form the framework where social life and the convener for social life to happen and to host these new types of lifestyle. The installation uses the object of the domestic labor, the drying rack, which is in itself a very fragile and precarious object. But as it is bound together, it serves and creates a very stable construct for placing the models onto. It's a metaphor for collective living, so that the collective of individuals, so the solidarity between the individuals, is greater than the sum of its parts. As well as the different mechanisms how architecture can be configured and reconfigured. These typologies explore how these different structures can allow the users for taking agency, as well as offering a vast amount of differences to explore and acknowledge the complexity of different distinct ways of life.